So before we move towards uh, Kanika, before I actually bring her in, I just wanted to share with you green building norms, which is part of the Unified Building Bylaws of Delhi. And I will give you a very swift and small example of what law is applicable and on what plot sizes. So, green building norms, which have been forced mandatorily on residential plotted development at present, are only applicable on plots beyond 105 square meters in residential plotted development. Uh, Up to 105 square meters, you have an optional usage of clause 2A and 2B, which is on the right side of the slide, which is installation of photovoltaic panels and installation of solar assisted water heating systems. Mind you, they are only optional. And from plot sizes 105 square meters and above, they do not remain optional anymore. So your clauses would include uh, from plot sizes 105 to 500 square meters. You are to do a rainwater harvesting by recharge. You are also to do an installation of solar PV panels. Also to do installation of solar assisted water heating systems. And on top of it, you are also to plan for segregation of waste. Um, Similarly, there are plot sizes on the left-hand side of the screen that you're seeing, and on the right-hand side, the clauses that are applicable for these green building norms, which are mandatory by the Municipal Corporation of Delhi. In fact, later somewhere in this session, I'll also would want to share two circulars with you, which have been notified by the South and the North Delhi Municipal Corporation very recently. With that, I'd like to now call upon architect Kanika Biswas Chaudhary, who is with Team Prithu, and she'll be taking on the next few slides forward. And post that, post Kanika's session, uh, we will have a quick question and answer round with our chief consultant, Mr. R.K. Gupta, who's a retired executive engineer from the Municipal Corporation of Delhi. Over to you, Kanika.
Hi, Rohit, and hi, everyone else. Thanks for setting the context of this new amendment and by telling us about the green building laws that are already there in place. So now let us move on to the next slide, in which we will actually deal with the law, the amendment that we have. Okay. So now the most important thing to note is that solar panels on terraces have been made mandatory for all residential buildings. Keeping that in mind, we'll just know that these norms have been frozen by MCD. These have been circulated earlier also. And this table, this is specifically talking about the residential building category. And you can see the plot sizes in this. The capacity of the solar power plant in kilowatt at the peak performance and the area of terrace required. It is given both in the percentages as well as in the square meters. So if we take an example, in a plot size of let's say 250 to 500 square meter, we will require a 2 kilowatt solar photovoltaic plant, which would either be 20% of your terrace area or it will be capped at 30 square meter. So this is the entire table actually deals in it like that. Understanding what are the implications of this, before that we will like to talk about what is the aim of this change. These laws are like Rohit said, these are part of the green building initiative, and these are aimed at a larger vision of the authorities towards encouraging clean energy. The other thing is that it's a very interesting fact, but Delhi is aimed at becoming a solar city with about 100 megawatt generation targeted from 2020 to be taken on to 200 megawatt by 2025. These laws were there in a different version. They were not mandatory. They were there. Solar panel installations were there in the laws also. But there were challenges that they were not mandatory to know about it, and there were many challenges that architects were facing because there was a height restriction of 2 meters from the terrace level, which was there for the structure carrying the panels. And this, in a sense, would make a part of your terrace not usable for anything except storages. People usually had a resistance towards losing prime precious terrace space. So architects used to face a lot of challenge in it. On the left-hand side, you see a picture of a rooftop solar installation we did about 3.5 years ago on a Prithu home in Greater Kailash, New Delhi. We've done a few of these installations, and this was the concern that we could see. You can see that being 2 meter high, around 6.5 meter, 6.5 feet height from the floor, we could use nothing under it. It could be a storage, a dead storage actually. So what's great in the new law, what the height of the structure carrying the solar panel will now be totally not considered, not counted towards the total height of the building, except obviously in areas where the AAI, the Airport Authority regulations take precedence. No approval will be required from the municipal corporation or other urban development bodies concerned like DDA for putting up these plants, including any additional system also that is required for monitoring the plant performance. The support structure on which the roof solar panels are installed, these are now going to be treated as temporary structures, and they will be considered built in accordance with the local building codes. That's great. So what it means is that now people can install the panels at a height of 3 to 4 meters, whatever they require, and the space below can actually be used for walking, storage, or any other purpose. So which doubles up actually as a utility space as it is a shaded area. So usually when we were debating initially what was the purpose of installing a solar panel, the question was, why do we want a solar panel? So the requirements were various. Sometimes it is power backup is required. Sometimes the person requires a reduced electricity bill. Sometimes it is both in mind. So keeping those in mind, there are types of solar panel installations on the terraces, which is there. This is actually, this slide that you see is actually the single line diagram from the BSES net metering registration form. This is for a very large plant. It's a 75 kilowatt, but it kind of gives you an idea that these are the solar photovoltaic panels. They are connected onto a inverter. If you just look at one part of it, because this is a 75 kilowatt, you can just actually look at either the most right hand side one. And so there are about 100 solar photovoltaic panels in this that are connecting on to DC AC, which is called the solar inverter, which actually converts the solar energy that is converted, actually generated as a DC to the AC, and then it further goes on to the net meter, and from the net meter it goes on to the grid or is taken back to the self usage area. So that is in a nutshell the way this is. Very quickly covering the type of solar installation on terraces. The most economical one is an on-grid one, in which we are actually not storing anything. In this, the solar energy either goes to the grid and completely, and we are not storing anything. So this is mostly the ones which are suggested for areas which have very little power disruption. So the client is not using anything of it. There is no self-consumption in this. Now, at the other end of the spectrum is the off-grid, which is usually the most expensive, because in this you are relying very little on the grid, and you're actually trying to use most of the solar energy that you are generating either directly or through saving it in the batteries, storing it in the batteries, and then you are using it. So you're actually not giving much to the grid. If there is only a very after your storage also there is a grid, then you are giving to the grid. But you're using the aim is to use most of it. So this is suggested for areas where there are high, long, frequent power disruptions. Then obviously there is a middle ground which is called the hybrid system, in which you have some kind of a storage which will be decided upon your requirement, and it will have everything else in a that is there in a standard installation, like the solar panel, the solar inverter, the net meter, the lightning arrestor, earthing, GI framing for the panels, and batteries. But the batteries would be very less based upon your requirement. So this is suggested for areas which have small duration power disruptions, or frequent but less frequent power disruptions. So where you actually do not have to store a lot, and you have grid connectivity also. This is just a typical GI framing of 8 feet high raised installation on GI framing. So on the left of this, you can see that they have started putting in the photovoltaic cells, and the right, they still have to do it. This is from a vendor. This is not a Prithvi installation, but it kind of gives you an idea of how grid would look. The other most common question that we encountered was the cost, including GI, framing, installation, commissioning, all the components. So if it's an on-grid system, it's very straightforward. It's approximately 38,000 per kilowatt plus a GST of 8.9%. In this, the GI framework is considered. In an off-grid, this is the cost of the batteries will have to be built into it. Plus, there would be about 60,000, 55 to 60,000 rupees with changes in the type of the solar inverter that is used, and because you are also sending the thing to the battery. In a hybrid, the number of batteries is reduced, so it falls in the middle ground between the on-grid and the off-grid. So with this, we come to the expected returns, what kind of a generation you are estimating. So a solar power plant per kilowatt would be generating around 1300 to 1600 units, depending upon the weather, where you are, how frequently and clean you've kept the solar photovoltaic cells, and of course the performance of the photovoltaic cells. So that approximately, if I'm assuming an average unit rate of about 6 rupees, it is expected to be fall between 8,000 to 10,000 rupees. But companies do claim that return of investment is usually in 3 years. They usually, in the tables that they are basing this claim on, they are also considering a 10% average escalation yearly in the power tariffs. So since we have done a few of these installations, and this is coming from our experience and our research that we have done, this is in a nutshell what is required from the solar installations on the terraces. Approximately 100 square feet of space is required per kilowatt of solar plant. In Delhi NCR, again, we are expecting it to generate about 1300 to 1600 units per year. In case you fall in a shadow area, you'll obviously have to raise it high and use the space efficiently. But it might come to the 1300 range. Our recommendation is that we install the solar plants at a height of 8 to 9 feet from the terrace floor on a GI or MS structure, and we can also use it like on top of a pergola or a sit out, so that dual purpose of a shaded space is also there. These plants do not require regular maintenance. The batteries would, if you are on off-grid system, your batteries would require the regular maintenance that you require, and every 5 years you will need to maybe change them also. But the photovoltaic cells do not require regular maintenance. You can just wash the dust away from the panels on a fortnightly basis, and they're good to go. And these need to be inclined towards the south for the best performances. So this is again a picture of another Prithu home in Greater Kailash only, and in this you can actually see this a tank is there and how this space was utilized. So after this, we will be moving on to the question answer sessions with our chief consultant.
Sure, and I'll take it forward from here, Kanika. Thank you very much for all your wonderful inputs here. Our chief consultant, Mr. Ramkumar Gupta, has joined in. He's graced us with his presence again. Just a brief on Mr. Gupta here. He's a retired executive engineer with MCD. He has been with the buildings department for the longest time in his tenure with MCD. He has about 36 years of overall experience with the MCD, out of which 25 years he spent in the building department. So his knowledge bank is actually very vast than one could even imagine. Also, he's just joined MCD in September of the year 1983 as a junior engineer, and then got promoted to an assistant engineer in March 2003 and retired as an executive engineer in December 2019. He has in-depth knowledge of the building bylaws in Delhi, as he's actually helped in making these laws. His efforts were recognized by the Commissioner Unified MCD when he was awarded as the Best Assistant Engineer Award by the Commissioner of Unified MCD. I have not been able to actually speak with any of the other MCD officials in the in a deep conversation, other than the fact that I've only enjoyed all my conversations related the building bylaws with him, and I thank him again for his presence. Sir, can you hear us? Sir, आप म्यूट पर हैं.
Thank you, Rohit ji.
Thank you very much for your presence again, sir. Thank you for
Good
taking
evening
some
to
time
all.
for us.
Good afternoon to all. जी सर, ये मेरा सौभाग्य है कि आपके साथ मुझे काम करने का एक सेवा का मौका मिल रहा है रिटायरमेंट के बाद भी. तो जैसे भी मैं जितनी भी अपनी एक एफर्ट्स, जितनी बेस्ट एफर्ट्स मैं आपको दूंगा, जो भी चाहिएगा बताइएगा सर.
Sure. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your time. So just wanted to share with you all that we received a few general queries when we had, floated a registration form. Sir, मेरे पास जो पहला सवाल आया है, अब वो ये पूछ रहे हैं कि सोलर सिस्टम मैंडेटरी है या नहीं.
सोलर सिस्टम अभी रिसेंटली बिल्डिंग बायलॉज के चैप्टर 10 प्रोविजन फॉर ग्रीन बिल्डिंग्स में जो है सोलर सिस्टम जो है ये 105 स्क्वायर मीटर तक के जो प्लॉट साइज है उनके लिए ऑप्शनल है. अदर देन के ग्रीन बिल्डिंग नॉर्म्स जो हैं वो मैंडेटरी है.
अच्छा.
In green building option, there are certain provisions: rainwater harvesting, low water consumption plumbing fixtures, wastewater recycle reuse, reduction of hardscape, solar installation of solar photovoltaic panels, installation of solar assisted water heating system, low energy consumption lighting fixture, energy efficiency in HVAC systems, segregation of waste and organic waste management, like this. These are the several chapters and categories wise are mandatory in the plot size, different plot sizes.
Okay.
The details are available in chapter 10 of UBPL 2016.
Great. Thank you very much for that, sir. एक और क्वेश्चन उठ के आया सर कि इससे कोई FAR के बेनिफिट्स मिल रहे हैं क्या अभी?
At present, there is no benefit are available for installation of the green building norms.
Okay. सर मैं अभी पहले इनफैक्ट ना मैं एक दो अगर और मेरे पास सोलर के क्वेश्चन है तो वो पूछ लेता हूँ. इनफैक्ट एक्चुअली नहीं है सर, बाकी कुछ जनरल क्वेश्चन मेरे पास आए थे और उसके बाद फिर हम फ्लोर जो है वो ओपन कर देंगे बाकी सारे हमारे कॉलीग्स के लिए that they can ask whatever questions they want. So there was one general question which someone wanted to know, that is subdivision of a plot an amalgamation of 2 plots permitted by the municipal corporation, sir?
Municipal corporation is not authority to permit the subdivision or amalgamation. It is the master plan.
Acha.
In the master plan, there is no subdivision is permitted right now.
Okay.
But amalgamation of plot size up to 64 square meter is permitted.
Okay. So sir, 32 32 के दो या 64 64 के दो equal to 128 करके.
Resultant amalgamation of the 64 square meter.
Acha.
Whether it is 32 32 or 31 33.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay. Okay.
There is a proposal. There is a proposal with the government is underway for 200 square meter plot site, but result is still awaited.
Okay. Okay. ठीक है. एक और क्वेश्चन सर किसी ने पूछा कि can I build a permanent security guard room outside the setback line meeting the FAR requirement? Are guard rooms counted as part of the FAR?
Yes. I'll let you know. Watch and ward cabins of total area not more than 4.5 square meter and 6 square meter with WC. Each at entry or exit only within the property line.
Okay.
ये all buildings में है except the residential buildings.
Okay.
But movable porta cabins maximum size of 2 square meter for guard room is permitted within the plot line in residential plots of size minimum 200 square meter and above.
अच्छा.
मतलब ये है कि आपको गार्ड रूम जो है वॉच एंड वार्ड केबिन्स जो है वो आपको 4.5 स्क्वायर मीटर एंड 6 स्क्वायर मीटर विद WC.
Okay.
Each entry and exit only is available on other buildings में.
अच्छा.
But within the residential building, the plot size having 200 square meter and above, a movable porta cabin of maximum 2 square meter size.
Okay.
Is permitted.
Okay. Okay. एक सर ASI से related question है, जैसा पिछली बार भी था, that for plots falling within 0 to 300 meters of a monument, what is the latest procedure for clearance of building plan?
Latest procedure आपको उसके लिए अप्लाई करेंगे और वो ऑनलाइन ही NOC वगैरह आपके आ जाएंगे जब
Okay. तो बेसिकली सर आप कह रहे हैं कि एक ही पोर्टल में जो MCD का ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस पोर्टल है
वहीं से MCD को
अप्लाई करेंगे. ओके.
उसी से प्रोसेस होगा.
ओके. ओके. एक क्वेश्चन है सर, मुझे नहीं पता ये कितना रेलेवेंट होगा, बट कैन टाइटल ऑफ प्लॉट साइजेस बिटवीन 550 to 1000 square meters in area be subdivided?
एक्चुअली में ये जो क्वेश्चन है मास्टर प्लान और बिल्डिंग बायलॉ से कोई इसकी रिलेवेंसी नहीं है. इट इज ए लीगल क्वेश्चन.
अच्छा.
As far as my knowledge,
Okay.
any person can have
Okay.
any person can have the interest in title of any size of any area of plot size. But if the subdivision in ownership document does not is not recognized in the building bylaw or the master plan.
अच्छा, तो आप कह रहे हैं बेसिकली कि वो होने को हो सकता है ऑन प्रॉपर्टी पेपर्स, बट
प्रॉपर्टी पेपर्स आपको हो सकता है लेकिन
recognized by the unified building
आपको
bylaw.
बेनिफिट जो है आपको कोई बेनिफिट नहीं मिलेगा उसको.
अच्छा. ओके. ठीक है. एक और क्वेश्चन है सर, ये थोड़ा सा लेंदी क्वेश्चन है, बट ये लार्जली रिलेटेड टू डेमोलिशन ऑफ द बिल्डिंग है. सो जो आर्किटेक्ट है उन्होंने पूछा है कि डज एन ओनर रिक्वायर एनी अप्रूवल फ्रॉम MCD और DDA टू डिमोलिश एंड रिकंस्ट्रक्ट एन एग्जिस्टिंग रूफ और पार्ट ऑफ एन एग्जिस्टिंग रूफ that is in need of repair while the owner has a construction certificate for the.
Okay. In chapter 2,
जी.
Just a minute, hold on. In chapter 2, there is a certain activities for which building permit is not required.
Okay.
Building activities is not required.
जी.
That are the like plastic cladding, patch repairs, except for heritage buildings. re-roofing, renewal of roof, including roof intermediate floor at the same height.
Okay.
आप roof को बदल सकते हैं, roof reconstruct कर सकते हैं. That's
Okay.
to on the same height.
Okay.
Flooring, reflooring, opening and closing of the windows, ventilators, doors, opening the owner's plot,
जी.
like this.
अच्छा.
But as regard the demolition,
जी.
as regard the demolition, building law में कहीं मुझे पढ़ने को नहीं मिला, but TMC Act में housing के house tax chapter में demolition करने से पहले owner have to require to inform the MCD.
Okay. सर ऐसा क्यों होगा कि ओनर्स को इन्फॉर्म करना होगा हाउस टैक्स पर्पस के लिए?
हाउस टैक्स पर्पस से आप एरिया एलिनेट कर रहे हैं ना.
ओके.
तो आपको हाउस टैक्स का जो है या एलिनेट कर रहे हैं या ऐड कर रहे हैं, तो आपका जो हाउस टैक्स है वो आपके एरिया से डिपेंड करता है कि आप कितना एरिया बना रखा है आपने.
अच्छा, तो वो टैक्स कैलकुलेशन पर्पस के लिए बेसिकली आपको
टू कैलकुलेट द रेवेन्यू.
ओके, बट बिल्डिंग्स डिपार्टमेंट को एज सच उसके लिए कोई परमिशन लेने की या देने की
कहीं लिखा हुआ नहीं है, प्रॉपर्ली स्पेल्ड आउट नहीं है.
ओके ओके ओके, ठीक है सर. आई थिंक दैट्स मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. नहीं, एक्चुअली एक क्वेश्चन रह गया है सर. जेंटलमैन पूछते हैं कि इज सैंक्शनिंग फॉर इंस्टॉलिंग रूफटॉप सोलर पैनल्स system required from MCD prior to installing the system in an existing building? If yes, then what is the protocol? I think वो required नहीं है ना सर?
नहीं, existing में required नहीं है इसके लिए, कोई permission की required नहीं है.
Okay, okay, ठीक है सर. I'll leave the floor open for any questions if you have. Just to set the terms very clear, please ask questions related to the Unified Building Bylaws or the Master Plan of Delhi 2021. Pertaining to residential plotted development, please. Are we ready for questions, guys? Any questions?
Yeah. Hi, sir.
Hi, ma'am. Can you state your question, please?
Hello.
Anji, please go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, sir. I would like to know, as an architect, can you please tell me what all Prithu can help me with in this, in the overall system?
Sure. Ma'am, Prithu can offer you assistance in two broad heads, majorly. One is, of course, our licensing capabilities for residential plotted development. Okay, we can handle this for your projects in this category, and we can handle it completely. The other is our construction capabilities, which are on offer for your designs. We can be your contractors for your clients and build projects for you if required. Does that answer your question, ma'am?
Okay. Yeah, fine. Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Hi, Ashish Mishra here.
Hi, Ashish.
Yeah, I was just thinking about having some support in Bhopal. I am based in Bhopal right now.
Okay.
So, if there is any requirement other than NCR, then can we work together? Like you will be consultant for implementing solar solutions over here.
Ashish, I'll take that question for you. So at present, Prithu is only focused on Delhi NCR.
Okay.
But we can definitely get in touch and see if there is anything that we could do together.
Actually, we have some requirements
Ashish, I'll take that question personally. Can you just leave your email address on the chat group of this webinar, and I'll take it from there.
Sure. Thank you.
Any other questions, guys? Guys, if there are no other questions, then I think we should call it a day. Sure, great. Thank you so much for your time, guys. It's been a pleasure hosting you again. please do look forward to the same space. We'll be arranging some more webinars. Kanika would be getting in touch with you for that separately.
Any ideas on the next topics are welcome. I have been sending forms on these. Please do connect with me or Rohit. You're most welcome to suggest what should be the next topic.
Great. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Bye. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Rohitji. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Bye,
much
sir.
for your time, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.